problem for Jeskai Delver in this matchup. You look down at the creature slot, there's only 10 of them.
Yep.
And if the Miracles deck can trade 1-for-1 with threats, Jeskai Delver may just not be able to mount enough pressure.
To Anthony's turn, we will go. It is a Scalding Tarn. You see on Feltner's side, he has a Polluted Delta. See what Leen wants to search up. He goes with a Tundra. This is a Stoneforge Mystic. And that may not be resolving. We'll see. Feltner going to sacrifice his Delta and search up a land here. Going to go with the basic island. Wants to make sure he does not get wastelanded.
Though Stoneforge is a little slow in this matchup, it's not that slow.
He just puts you to a test right away.
Yep.
That's the thing to like about it. There's Force of Will, removing Counterbalance. So how about no? How about Force of Will back? How about yes? How about that resolves? Well, okay then. Feltner going to draw a card, begin to take his turn. There's the Batterskull. He will play. Well, that's a little backwards because that's a Terminus.
Whoa.
There's the Plains, and now there's the Swords of Plowshares.
So that was the test, and it looks like Darrel might have passed it.
Yep. Bye, Stoneforge.
And now this is the issue. You look at Anthony's hand, it's a Daze, it's a Bolt. There's nothing proactive going on.
He's another threat. Leen making sure that Feltner will shuffle his deck.
And you do not want to play Draw Go with Jeskai Delver when you're playing against Miracles.
That's not a great spot to be in, yeah.
He's got to find something now.
See what the draw is here. Tundra. Going to play Misty Rainforest. Pass the turn back. Work on filling up the graveyard for Treasure Cruise. There's a Flooded Strand from Feltner. Pass the turn back over to Leen. Leen will draw a card. Swords of Plowshares. Quite poor in this matchup. There's the fourth land. One away from actually hard casting Batterskull. Feltner will play his fourth land as well. Leen will draw a Ponder and cast it. That is good to go. Take a look at the top three.
And I think that Anthony needs to shuffle away something that doesn't provide pressure here.
See a Wasteland, a Brainstorm. Looks like that top card's a Treasure Cruise. Could be a Tree Nemesis as well.
I think it's True Name.
The artwork on those cards rather similar. Ponder resolves. Brainstorm added to the grip. See if he wants to cast Brainstorm now or not. Looks like we're going back Feltner's way here in just a moment. You see Feltner only have 3 cards to hand. And he knows one of them is Terminus.
Yep.
From earlier, a little earlier mishap.
Because he's got a Swords of Plowshare in hand, he already has a dead card to shuffle away.
Yeah.
And if he happens to find a threat card as the last card he's looking at that's new, it's a pretty big upside.
Well, Swords is going to go back, as you saw. It looks like Lightning Bolt's going to be the other one that goes back. I'd say that's the other poor card in Leen's hand right now. So he puts those 2 back. You see the fetch land in play already to make it a perfect Brainstorm. Hasn't played a land yet. That's why the Wasteland is brought forward. We'll see how he wants to move forward here. That's the Wasteland. You see the Daze. There is a Cruise there now. We'll sacrifice the Misty Rainforest.
I like this as a spot to try to resolve True Name Nemesis.
Yeah, I don't dislike it. There's a Volcanic Island.
I always rather get your pressure first and cruise later.
Sure.
Because you want to get your pressure going first, and you make the cruise as cheap as possible the longer you wait on it.
Here's a pretty nice legacy scene here in Minneapolis. So it seems like these 2 players are friends as well as they do battle back and forth. At the very least, they are enjoying themselves. Here's True Name Nemesis. Looks like that's in there. Feltner going to draw. Makes you wonder what the contents of Darrel's hand is outside of that Terminus.
Well, this is the issue with some of these builds of Miracles that are playing the Rest in Peace package. You just have a lot more fidgety stuff.
Yeah.
You draw random copies of Helm of Obedience that don't do anything. You draw energy fields you can't deploy.
It's going to be an attack here for 3. Feltner assisting Leen with his attack. Wasteland going to go after a non-basic. There goes the Tundra. Don't get to see the Delver deck kill many lands with Wasteland. See what this is going to be. Oh, it looks like we might be cruising for a bruising.
This is nice turn here for Anthony.
Hit 1, 2, and 3. Darrel doesn't look too pleased that this is taking place.
Dude, you could be playing that card too.
That's true.
Don't make that face.
That's true.
You're not playing it. I guess Rest in Peace and Treasure Cruise probably don't belong in the same deck. Whatever. The point stands.
Hey, however you want to build your deck is up to you.
Yeah. You can choose the cards. It's not sealed deck.
This is a Stoneforge Mystic. That's going to resolve as well. Umazawashite is added to the grip.
And Darrel's hand, I think, is a mess. It looks like an Entreated Terminus. you know.
A real motley crew. There's a Terminus off the top. That's going to clear things up, or at least we think so. Leen does have a copy of Forceful in his hand. There's the Terminus. An altered one. It's time to fight. Force of Will. The question is, what to remove? Days or True Name?
I think this ship has sailed on days.
Yeah, I
yep,
think so.
I like this. I'd rather have a backup True Name Nemesis in case Darrel rips another Terminus or something.
I'm with you. Pass the turn back. Leen. Drawing a card. It's not a miracle for him. It's a Delver Secrets.
Treasure Cruise is nice.
You have a question ready? Jite. And now, get in the beats. The idea here, of course, leave Stoneforge Mystic available to put the Batter Skull into play and keep putting the pressure on that way.
And Anthony's ahead enough on cards at this point that he can sandbag threats, which is rarely the case against Miracles. You often just kind of have to cast your stuff.
Delta going to come into play. Stoneforge Mystic going to go active. Batter Skull's coming on in.
But you know it's a nice card to play to give yourself staying power against sweeper effects? Ancestral Recall.
Probably makes things a little bit easier.
Makes it a little easier.
Yeah. There is our Germ token. Feltner at 12. Brian's going to go hiding. Players have decided BBD, enough of you. There we go. Batter Skull on top of BBD, even better. Leen will draw a card. It's a volcanic island. Time to suit up something with the Jite.
And I think if I was Anthony right now, I would, instead of doing this, I would suit up the True Name Nemesis with the Batter Skull, because there's not a lot of upside in getting Jite counters on in this matchup. And if Darrel has a Source of Plowshare, it's a pretty big tempo swing there for him to be able to plow your Germ token. It's at least a reprieve for a little while. This probably doesn't matter that much at the end of the day.
It's a Terminus. It's Helm of Obedience. This is awkward. Anthony Leen's going to win game number 1 here over Darrel Feltner. Jeskai Delver up a game over Miracles. We will get to the sideboards in a moment. But, of course, we've got our final trivia question of the evening. Patrick will have that for you. But I have the rules, of course. Hashtag SCG Premium. Make sure you're following at SCG Live on Twitter. He's got your 12-monther. Of course, accuracy, not speed, will not slow at the conclusion of our final match, and all giveaways here on SCG Live are at the sole discretion of Star City Games. No giveaways are affiliated with Twitch in any way, though, of course, we do thank them for allowing us to broadcast on their fantastic network, and hopefully see them next week in Oakland.
Yeah, we will see.
Yeah.
So, our opens, 2-person booth, me and Cedric right now. We're doing our thing. Our Grand Prix, 3-people booths. Cedric and me will be running back in Jersey, but we'll be joined by one more. Can you name that Minneapolis native?
If you can, we hope that you do use his Twitter handle.
Because he likes that.
You could also compliment him on his 0-3 performance today in the Open.
Well, he did recover with a win in a side draft, where he drafted Polluted Delta, Windswept Heath, and Sarkin. So, got to recoup a little bit.
Congratulations to our mystery person. Name that person with the hashtag of SCG Premium. Make sure you are following SCG Live. And as usual, we'll announce the winner at the conclusion of our final round. Back to the match. Take a look at the sideboards here for Darrel Feltner. 2 Meddling Mages, an Energy Field, a Rest in Peace, a Counterspell, 2 Flusterstorm and a Misdirection, along with 3 Geist of St. Traff to get a little more aggressive, Mendelian Click, Council's Judgment, and Treat the Angels. And last, but certainly not least, a Supreme Verdict.
I don't know if I like any of these cards besides the Supreme Verdict.
That's the good one.
The Vendilion Click, I think, is okay. It's good in normal matchups and trades with the Delver of Secrets, but I'm struggling to see much utility out of anything else here. I think the Energy Field is dubious because Wear Tear is likely already coming in on Anthony's side of the table. I think the other counterspells are less efficient than the ones that Anthony is working with. I don't think he can really bring in the Meddling Mages. Maybe the Council's Judgment is okay to bring in, again, just as a 1-for-1 removal spell, but I would sideboard pretty light if I was Darrel.
Other side of things for Leen, a Sword of Feast and Famine, 4 Meddling Mage, 2 Rest in Peace, 2 Flusterstorm, 2 Pyroblast, and Elspeth, the Council's Judgment, not 1, but 2 copies of Wear and Tear.
Lots to like here. I like the Wear Tears a lot, I like the Pyroblasts a lot. I think the Flusterstorms are fine, and the 4 copies of Meddling Mage, and the Sword of Feast and Famine. A lot of upgrades
A lot
here.
of options up on Leen's side, not so many on Feltner's.
That's the way I feel. I think even the Elspeth is pretty good against Darrel here.
Yeah.
He's not going to attack his land, so you don't. It's not a wasteland matchup. You don't have to worry about that sort of thing. And on his own, it can generate a lot of threats. And if you already have a clock going, it accelerates that by quite a bit.
I haven't seen Elspeth Knight Errant in a long time.
A little throwback.
Yeah, big fan of that card. One of the best Planeswalkers of all time.
Anthony Leen 1 game away from making it 3 for 3 on Treasure Cruise winning an SCG Open since it's been legal. On camera.
Yeah.
I don't recall what happened in Indianapolis.
Have to look it up, actually.
Because it was the two weekends.
I think that was Elves Mania.
Oh, that's right. That was the top four.
four
That
with
was 4
elves,
elves decks.
yeah.
So in recorded history, we're on 3 for 3.
Yeah. That was all elves all the time over there. But when they're on camera, they're cruising for a bruising.
Yep.
We can't forget, too, since cons have been legal for our standard opens, Jeskai, of the recorded ones. It's everywhere. People love blue, white, red.
The adaptations are slow. I mean, we had a Slivers deck today in the top 4 playing with Relic of Projectile Distance main deck. So that's something.
It tried to stop the Treasure Cruise. And it did actually a pretty good job of slitting down the graveyard. What it didn't do, stop everything else.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Well, he didn't have an answer to Delver Secrets.
I suppose that's true.
And that was the whole game. That was the whole match.
Leen trying on Feltner's glasses there. Probably not the best idea. I don't know if you've ever done that before.
It's horrible.
It's really bad.
I feel like I'm going to immediately throw up. If someone has serious glasses, you know, if they have real vision problems, I feel like I'm going to throw up.
I just can't imagine what it's like to, if they need those to see that well, what their normal vision is like without them. It just seems terrifying.
Yep.
They just lose their glasses one day. Is that just game?
I mean, you can probably find an optometrist most cities, so you don't just wander into traffic and die, I think is...
I hope not. I do hope not. Seems very dangerous. Both players taking a look at their opening hands. Looks like we are going to be underway here in just a moment. Waiting for the green light. Feltner's going to start it up. Sensei's Divining Top. No counterspell there. Leen will draw a card. It's another copy of Brainstorm, Volcanic Island, and just pass the turn back. See the hand there with the Pyroblast 2 Brainstorm, Stoneforge Mystic as well. Feltner will cast a Brainstorm right now. Take a look at the top 3 cards.
And I guess there's not much of an incentive to Pyroblast the Brainstorm when he already has Divining Top in play.
Yeah.
But there also aren't a ton of targets, so maybe Anthony's committed to saving this for counterbalance, if he can.
Let's copy Scalding Tarn. And that's a Ponder. Take a look at the top 3 here. Force of Will among the cards, also another Stoneforge Mystic. Keeping Force of Will very quickly with the Ponder before passing the turn back over to Feltner. No interest in spinning the top just yet. Looks like he's going to crack the fetch land, though.
Anthony definitely has a plan here. He has the ability to play Stoneforge Mystic, make his land drops, and protect it with quite a bit of permission.
Yeah. Search up a Plains, get another basic, of course. Will Feltner does not want to have to worry about Wasteland. Shuffle away, make this a perfect Brainstorm before we do start his 3rd turn.
A lot of chatter at the table. Enthusiastic crowd. Much larger than we normally have at the finals of our Legacy.
Normally it's 2, maybe 3 people, and then the 2 players. And we have to be relatively quiet. Not this time, though. There's a counterbalance. That's going to be fought over. That'll be hit by a Pyroblast.
And Anthony got paid off for the way that he played there. Did not go after that Brainstorm. Also didn't just untap and cast Stoneforge Mystic. Held firm and was able to get counterbalance.
Meddling Mage was the draw for the turn. This is a Stoneforge Mystic. That is resolving. We are searching. What equipment will it be?
Probably the sword.
The Batter Skull.
Okay, Batter Skull. I guess because he has Force of Will in hand, Anthony's feeling pretty confident that he can protect the Stoneforge through the next turn.
And Meddling Mage could potentially stop Terminus as well. Spun the top there, did Feltner. Now he will draw a card, play a Flooded Strand. You see a Terminus in his hand. This looks to be maybe a Rest in Peace.
He has a Rest in Peace. He also has Helm in hand.
Ah, yes, the 1-2 punch. This is Rest in Peace. Will this resolve? That gets the thumbs up.
Well, Anthony has no Treasure Cruise in hand and the ability to just Meddling Mage Helm of Obedience. He's really worried about it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's worth fighting over that card.
The draw's a Daze. That's a nice blue card to remove, of course, to Force of Will. He also has 2 Brainstorms, and he's just going to pass the turn back, it looks like. Well, he's got Stoneforge Mystic at the ready. See if Feltner's going to spin top here. Don't have a great look at what he's looking at, but he's happy with his configuration. Will draw a card. Deploy Misty Rainforest. That's land number 5. Will sacrifice a Flooded Strand. Get a Plains. It might be time to try to go for the Helm kill.
I think he's going to make his move here. And this is the issue with playing this kind of build of the deck is these moving parts. They're a lot tougher to assemble once you're playing against people with counter spells and discard spells and so forth.
Though this is the kind of card that does warrant a counter spell. You see a shoulder shrug and attempted Helm of Obedience. Is this going to work?
Yeah, those two cards are a combo. Yes, you need to do something about this.
Forcible Moving Brainstorm says absolutely not. Leen will take one to do that. He also has the opportunity to slide in Batter Skull if he'd like. He might just cast a Brainstorm here first. Yep. So he's going to take a look at 3 cards. You see a Brainstorming, a Taxian Probe, and a mystery one there in the middle. Looks like it's a Scalding Tarn now. So a couple of cards will have to go back. Probe and Brainstorm. And you're wondering why he didn't search for the sword. Well, it's already in his hand. It looks like he's a little unsure of what he wants to put back.
Well, I think he wants to put back a Tarn here. I don't think there's a lot of value in keeping an additional land.
How do you feel about the days?
I like the days here because the one thing that Anthony has to be worried about at this point is Swords of Plowshares. If he gets to connect with the sword, things start getting really good for him.
Sure.
So I'm willing to keep the days at this point as a kind of a flyer to make sure that the Stoneforge connects one time.
There's actually potential for a huge turn here for Leen.
Yeah.
You know, he can crack that fetch land, slide in Batter Skull, keep the 4th land, slide in the sword, equip the Batter Skull.
Another good line, yeah.
Yeah.
So now we see the incentive to keep the 4th land here.
Yeah.
And if this is the plan, then I definitely like keeping the days because
Me too.
the hit is so big that even if days is not good beyond this turn rather, I think it's worth doing that to make sure that this connects.
And he did keep the days. So now Batter Skull is going to come in, and he can set up just an absolute beating of a turn.
This is a mauling right here, what's about to happen.
If all goes to plan.
And Darrel is likely to have to crack his fetch land, which is valuable, and then get dazed in all of this.
Yep.
Because he can't afford to take the hit.
Yeah. So there's our Germ token. Brian's going to go hide. Leen's going to draw a card. It's a Tundra. Taxian Probe's going to let him take a look. There's Swords and Terminus. So now he knows what he needs to worry about. There's the land. Not sure if he drew off of the probe. I don't think that he did. So we will have to stop the game really quickly here. Stop the game, stop the game, stop the game.
And so this has happened to me before too, where the Gataxian Probe, the information is so awesome for you that you just say, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't need the card. So there's the draw from the probe. Gotta make sure you get that card too.
Some patience here from Darrel here, not willing to play into the days.
Yeah, a little surprised. Does get to untap the lands. And now, there's Elspeth. Jeez. That's a good that's a good card to draw off that Gataxian Probe. I would want that.
Pretty good against 1-for-1 removal guy.
Yeah. Now Terminus looks embarrassing. Which was the card that Feltner discarded. You see the Swords of Plowshares over there. This is getting pretty ugly out here.
And Darrel's not going to be able to keep a hand because of the sword.
Yeah.
So
It's time to spin that top.
how long has it been in Legacy since we've had this on camera?
Elspeth?
We might have to go back to 2013 or before.
I feel like I can safely say a year. Like at least like 1 calendar year. I feel like I can say with safety.
Yep.
Council's Judgment off the top here. Looks like that's going after Elspeth. No more of that. You see the Swords of Plowshares, the last card here in Feltner's hand. He has the ability to play around days too. Take a draw. Another Gataxian Probe. Gonna pay 2 life for this. See the swords. Take a draw.
Are you positive that Darrel can pay for the days right now? I think he might have spun top and Council's
Oh, I guess not. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I thought he had another mana open. See Forceful among the cards that we see with the Ponder. Put the land into play. Looks like he's going to move some equipment around here. Hedge a little bit.
diversify his resources.
Yep. Make that soldier from Elspeth a little bit bigger. It's time to battle. Sacrifice a fetch land. Leen going right towards the days. Yeah, he's going to try to swords this.
And I think that Anthony may not even fight over this because he got Force of Will. So he might just say, yeah, make this trade, that's fine.
No, I think the dazing here is perfectly fine because he can just crack the fetch land. He can crack the fetch line, get a land, actually hard cast Daze, connect with the sword, untap, and cast Force of Will.
Okay.
So if I'm in that spot, I'm just hard casting Daze. It's basically a freebie.
Point well taken.
Feltner going to go down to 7, though, so it can still be lethal next turn if you just equip the Batter Skull over. So still might just be perfectly fine. Take a look at the top cards here. And Force of Will gives you all the protection you need, right? There's an island. Pass the turn back. Going to untap and take a draw here.
And I think Darrel has floated a copy of Entreat the Angels to the top of his deck with the intent on topping here. The Force of Will should lock this up.
Leen going to sacrifice the Scalding Tarn. Go get a 5th land. It's time to equip old Batter Skull to something. On the Stoneforge Mystic, you can do the math. 4 from the Batter Skull, 5 from the Mystic, 6 and 7 from the Sword, 8 from the Soldier. That's an Entreat the Angels. Off the top, Miracle Style. That's Force of Will or Daze.
Just the,
Either way,
just the Daze will do.
Anthony Leen going to win this match over Darrel Feltner. 2-0. And for Anthony Leen and Jeskai Delver, it's winner, winner, chicken dinner. Legacy Open champion here in Minneapolis.
Really impressive because that's not a matchup I typically like from the Jeskai Delver side.
That was a one-sided match, man.
I think the composition of Darrel's deck hurts him in this matchup because he got a lot more moving parts that are going to be harder to play in the face of counter spells. But even setting that aside, Treasure Cruise was a key factor in Game 1.
Yep. And, the inclusion of Treasure Cruise, 3 copies in Leen's deck, you can see how it affects things. Because normally in that spot, you'll see cards that don't have a huge role in this matchup. You might see a card like Stifle or some other kind of low-impact cards. Additional burn, what have you. Treasure Cruise changes the dynamic of, I imagine, not only in this matchup, but many others as well.